And Marlon, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you. It looks and sounds like you have an amazing event.
Absolutely right. Well, let's find out. Are you learning some good things here today? I'm looking this way because I have the chat. Are you actually feeling inspired and motivated? My team is like, woo, let's give a round of applause to my team, please, for showing up and getting all of these free gifts to you, making sure our amazing speakers are here. And Marlon, like, you're really representing. I mean, freaking, like, look at you. I don't want to ask you your age, but I'm imagining that you probably
61.
Stop it. How old?
61.
No. Okay, that's ridiculous. Okay, so let's find out the keys from Marlon today of how she is 61 and looks like a 30-year-old. But first of all, let me introduce Marlon to everybody here. So originally from Sweden, Marlon Svensson is an international fitness speaker, author, and coach with a master's degree in physical education and over 30 years experience in the fitness industry, which to me looks like you've been doing it since you were born. Whether she works out fitness guru Jane Fonda or people that have never worked out a day in their lives, her mission is the same: to strengthen the body and mind to age with confidence. Marlon has been featured as a fitness and aging expert on NBC California Live, CBS Los Angeles, and in the LA Times, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and Fitness Magazine. And I know that you're so passionate about this, Marlon, and is it because it wasn't always this way for you? That's my question. Like, was there a moment in your life where you were like, okay, it's all about being physically fit?
Yes, when I was 12 years old.
What happened?
My dad turned 50. I was number 6. I'm the baby in the family. So at his on his birthday, and I want to say up front, I'm from Sweden, so sometimes I speak Swinglish. So I'm sure you understand what I'm trying to say. But if you're like, huh, what did she say? Just that's my excuse. I'm from Sweden. So anyway, so he turned 50. I was 12 years old. One of the gifts he got was a painting of a man going through life from birth to death. And at the top, he was 50 years old. Woo-hoo! And from then on, it was downhill. And I stood in front of that painting, shaking my head. I am not going to live my life like that. I'm going to live my life like an ascending staircase where each decade is a new adventure, new growth. And I started to embrace that indirectly. I mean, very deep inside of me when I was 12 years old. That's always been my passion. It's been driving me. I worked in the summer, summer jobs in Sweden. I always ended up at, hospitals working with the elderly. And it was so sad to see how there was no life. There was no joy. And here I came in, you're just there a brief time in this, summer job, like, 8 weeks or so. I had a ton of energy and I wanted to change the world. So I started to put on masquerades for these elderly people. They were just sitting in wheelchairs and just looking like, and they started to have smiles on their face. We had barbecues. I just brought in all these new different things. And I saw that you can still have life in you. It's just, you just have to access it and you have to work on it. And so that has been what's been driving me. And then I came over here to Los Angeles and I started to work as I was 28 years old, just started to work with the 50 plus. And that has been my target audience for 30 years, probably, more than 30 years now, but I always say 30 years. So I definitely have learned during those 30 years what works and what doesn't work to age with confidence.
I think that's so amazing that, the knowledge that you had because of the group, the age group that you were working with, I bet that has set you in such good stead ahead of time. I mean, you just put your arms up and I saw all your muscles. I'm like, oh my goodness. For those who don't know, Marlon and I met through a friend. And when I saw her, I'm like, who is that goddess? Like, she is walking the walk, which is why I invited her to come and speak. And thank you so much for showing up.
Oh, you're so kind.
But we have a great question in the chat, so I'm going to ask it, which is from Kathy. She says, what are the top 3 things that you do, Malin, every day to stay healthy? Okay, what are the top 3 things that you do?
Meditate.
Okay.
Mindset. Movement.
Amazing. Okay, so it's so interesting how we never know what's going to come out of these events, but there's always a thread. And the thread that I'm hearing is the meditation, the mindset, and the movement. In fact, our very first speaker said that, our second speaker said it, our third speaker said it. Here you are, right? So let's pick that apart, right? Let's talk about mindset, but let's start there, because the biggest thing I saw coming into this event, and I wrote down what people said, like what people are struggling with. Motivation is a big one, and how to be consistently motivated. How do you have the mindset for health in a world that is toxic, unhealthy, teaching us to be stressed out, teaching women to be self-abandoning, taking care of everyone else first? How is it that you were like, no, I'm not going to be like my dad, right? That 50 is then you're on the downslope. What is your mindset that you're always climbing the health ladder?
Well, first of all, well, my dad, he got the painting, so he was not living like that. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay. Sorry, you saw the painting.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the painting was like an arc, and at the 50, you were the highest. Yeah. So anyway, what keeps me motivated? It's just ingrained in me. I had a very happy childhood with parents that were very active, and they always believed in me. Whatever I did, it was like, go, go, go. And so I've had a very good start in life. Coming from Sweden, where equality between men and women are probably in the world, the leading country. So I never felt like, men were more important or they knew more or anything. I just had confidence from the time I jumped out of my mom, basically. And she said, just like that, when I asked her how I was as a kid, she said, first of all, you just jumped out. And I just feel like, here I am, I'm ready to go, and I'm ready to inspire people. And for myself, that inner motivation that I want to be a role model for, especially women, as we're aging, to both how you feel and how you feel about yourself and what you can do in this world. So my book that I've written a few books, but the last book that I wrote starts with your attitude towards aging. And it ends with, what are you going to do now with your life? And in between, you have all the, good things with mindset and taking care of your body, working out correctly and decreasing aches and pains and all that, and nutrition. But for me, it's always, I want to be a role model. So that is my inner motivation that always helps me, because there are some days that I don't feel like, doing this or that. But when I think about you, my audience, you are the ones that motivate me. So it's very important to go deep down. And I do that through my meditation when I manifest other things in my life. And I've been manifesting since I was 8 years old. And I didn't know, of course, when I was 8, that it was manifestation, but I always picture in my mind, what do I want? And then we know that the universe, you are attracted to that. And so I'm a great manifester. I just manifest what it is. Like when I came over here, when I was 28, I didn't have a green card. I was not able to work here. So I put an ad in LA Times from Sweden, and I found a few families that I could take care of their house in exchange for room and board. And then eventually, so I started to clean houses and take care of houses. And so it's manifesting, what do you want? So the end goal was coming over to Los Angeles and be able to work. And so all the steps that had to happen, it was just one thing after another. Okay, what do I do next? What do I do next? It's like you're in this comfort zone, but you want to go outside. But like John said, it's too overwhelming if you want to do everything at the same time, like this big, huge goal that you have. So you just dip one little toe. Oh, that felt good. Then another one, and then another one. So you just kind of Try it out and go, oh, this is good, this is working. And if it's not working, you still stay the course, but you might change a little bit here. So you got to be flexible, but you shoot the arrow where you want to go, and then you just go towards that.
I love that. How can people that don't have a fitness business create that sense of accountability? Because it sounds like you're really like, okay, I want to show up because I'm inviting people to do this with me. So I've got to represent my brand, as you do so beautifully. How can people that you work with that, are wanting to be healthier, to include and incorporate movement into every day, how do you find it's effective for your clients to create that accountability that they do show up just like you do?
Well, I create community. So I have my Naughty Body community, especially for people that are online. They do my online memberships. We get together in the Naughty Body community and report to me on a weekly basis what you've done. And it's very brief. It's just, how many strength training workouts did you do? How many cardio workouts did you do? How many steps did you have on a daily basis? It's just basically 3 things. And then people report a little bit more. And the great thing is that people support each other. So if one person has a little bit, oh, I had a bad week because of this and this and that, other people kick in and say, hang in there. This was just one other week. Tomorrow is a new day. So there's a lot of support in my community. And then I have my academy, which is, fitness professionals that want to become certified Naughty Body instructors, trainers, and coaches. I also have community. So everything I do is about community, creating community, because that's what we need today. We need to be together and feel we belong together, and together we can motivate each other. If you have one bad day, I motivate you and inspire you, and vice versa. So it's about lifting each other up and supporting each other, motivate each other. And then, of course, you have to dive deep into your why.
Let's talk about that. And I do want to also include in our conversation, what I hear a lot of times is people saying, oh, that's just aging. And we know that actually biologically we're designed to live to 120 years, that a lot of these symptoms that are thrown away as, oh, this is just aging. How do you counteract that? Because there's a lot of that in society that permeates society. And quite often when I say, look, that's not normal, that's actually not normal. It's almost like people can't compute it because the aging myth is so like permeates. Like, what's the truth there? What is the truth in how and when the body ages that can really help people?
Well, the body starts aging when you're 25, 30. Because the bone density goes down, the muscle mass goes down, unless you do something about it, like strength training. Now, I have been in the business, as I said, for 30 plus years. I have worked out people that have been in their 20s that have been in bad shape, and then people in their 70s that have been in great shape. So to me, age is just a chronological number telling you how many years you've been on this planet. It doesn't define you. It doesn't say how young you are at heart. So age is a thing that I talk about a lot. And it's about, changing your attitude and being, I said, you said, very politely, I'm not asking my age. I'm totally say your age and embrace it. And so I've never been, especially here in Hollywood, Los Angeles, where people are like, oh no, don't say, my age, like I'm 31. No. It's like, oh my God, it's just a number. It doesn't say who you are. And so I always start there with, embracing where you are. And then I always say, because people, they start having aches and pains because your body is a machine, right? We need to take care of our machine. And sometimes the machine is just going to last so long before you maybe have to replace something. And thank God, we're able to do that in today's society. We can replace a knee or a hip. But aches and pains is a very common excuse not to move, and also a fear not to move. So the specific thing about the Nordic body system is that we actually decrease aches and pains, and we work out correctly so you don't get injured. So it's about knowing how to do it and what to do. So I had tons of members that come in and feel like, I'm so afraid of hurting myself. I used to do this. I got injured. I don't dare to do it anymore. So if you have aches and pains, do not use it as an excuse. Please find out. If one thing doesn't work, then find out for another thing. Find out from friends, from doctors. There is a solution to whatever you're going through. And
there's a solution to whatever it is you're going through. Let's say it one more time. There's a solution to anything that you are going through. Okay. Yes, thank you. I love that perspective. I just wanted to catch that because that was a nugget right there. Thank you.
All right, you're so welcome. Yes, I use my community. They support each other. If one thing is working for them, they share it. And of course, my whole program is about, like Lily Tomlin, she in her testimonial, she says, I am getting stronger, staying injury free. So the program is about getting you stronger in your muscles, because we all know, or if you don't know, you're going to learn now, that muscles attach to bones via tendons. And we as women are kind of afraid of like, oh, I don't want to get bulky. And I'm like, there's no way, especially if you're 50 plus or 40 plus, there's no way you're going to be able to get bulky because our testosterone is so low, especially for women. So if you feel like you're getting stronger, just really, again, embrace it, because what happens is every time you strengthen your muscle and it gets fatigue, you want to go to that fatigue feeling, because then the tendons, they are attached to the bones, and that stimulates the bone growth, the bone density. And so strong muscles means strong bones, because like Max here, he has, he has the skeleton. This is our frame, right? Well, for our frame to move, we have to have muscles that attaches. So we all know a bicep curl is, for example, like this, using the bicep. So my bicep muscle, if you think about my fingers here as tendon, they attach on this bone and this bone. So when it shortens, it's right here. And that makes that lower arm move. So muscles and tendons make you move the bones. And the bones, to stay strong, needs to be stimulated. So don't be afraid if it doesn't feel pain like injury to go to fatigue, because that's the only way to get those muscles fatigued and to keep those bones strong.
I have a question here in the chat, and I heard you mention it a couple of times. I think there was such a period of time where it was all about the cardio for the women, but what is the best form of exercise? You talked about movement. So what do you do to look the way that you look? And what kind of training do you recommend for people to, especially those around 50 and 50 plus, to be fit?
So thank you for that question. So our program, or the Nordic Body Program, recommends 3 strength training sessions a week and 3 cardio sessions a week, and then 1 day off. But that's active rest. It's not sitting on the couch. It's still trying to get to those 10,000 steps a day. Now, when you do strength training, in our program, there's 3 levels, like 1, 2, and 3. So you can choose whatever works for you. And I do the programs. So for March now, we always do 9 exercises, and I do them 3 times, and I go to fatigue. And so I do exactly what I tell my members to do. I do March program with them. I do it by myself when I'm not teaching. And then for cardio, it's very important that you vary it. So I do a 20-minute high intensity. I do a 30-minute moderate vigorous cardio, and then I do a 60 to 90-minute moderate long hike. Those are my 3. So the 20-minute high intensity is not for everyone, and everyone's intensity is different. What is high intensity for me might not be for you, and vice versa. What is high intensity for you might not be high intensity for me. So you have to find what is hard for you. And of course, you have to clear it with the doctors first. My thing about high intensity is that you do 20 seconds as hard as you can, whether it's walking or you can do modified burpees, and then you rest. 10 seconds. Then you go back at it again. So it's 20 on, 10 off. And you go back and forth, back and forth. You build up to 20 minutes. And that is not including warm up and cool down. And so just vary the workouts. Don't go for that 1 hour sitting on the bike in this kind of like, tempo. It's just going to wear and tear on your joints. All the work that I teach and do myself is very productive. I do not believe in overdoing things like all these ultra marathon runners. I'm sure that they have their bodies built for it, but normally people's bodies, we don't want to wear and tear. So work out productively and really know why you're doing it and when you should do it and how you should do it.
Yeah, I love that you specified that the variety there, because you're echoing what we heard at the very powerful beginning of today's session with Casey Duke. She was like, you should spice up your exercise just like you spice up your love life in the bedroom, right? So I love that you're including all of that in there so that there's the variety there, because I think it's so easy to get bored when things are repetitive, right? And so it sounds like it sounds quite obvious that there's community with you in the Nordic body. There is the variety in the exercise. I think it's quite obvious that the next step is for people to come and grab your free gift and come and do Jane Fonda's workout. Tell us about working with Jane Fonda. Oh my goodness, isn't she just a goddess walking, right? Tell me about training her.
Yeah, well, it was really funny how it started because she just came up to me and asked me, can you work with me? And I grabbed my phone and I was like, let me check my schedule. And of course, I went back to her right away and we started to work out. And that's 6 years ago. She's a very open person. Some of my celebrity clients are very private, but with Jane, she's like an open book. I mean, she's written books about her life. So she's just really open. So anything that I say has either been in her book or it's public knowledge. So working with her is just amazing. I mean, I had to pinch myself in the beginning because it's like Dalai Lama hiring a spiritual leader, right? So I'm just, pinching myself now and then. And she just took me down to Mother Earth, like within 3 seconds. So I was starstruck for maybe 3 seconds. And then she is just so down to earth, so kind, so generous that right now, I mean, she's a friend. She's been, over to my home. She's just very much in my life, both as a client and as a friend. And what I love about her, I mean, of course, when she works out, she just gives it all. You probably have read that she had cancer and still, worked through that. And that was just amazing to see her superpowers really coming through. Now, you may also know that she's very driven right now with climate action. And she was actually one of the people at United Nations on March 4th, making sure that the ocean treaty came through. And so can you imagine at age 85 to still have that drive to make a change in this world and to just be so fired up and just never stopping, no cancer, nothing can stop her. She's unstoppable. She is truly a superwoman.
I think it's so, first of all, everyone watching, you can do this workout and then you can say that you've done Jane Fonda's workout, do that. But also, isn't it so interesting? We're back to aging. Quite often people think that they're over the hill, like that painting, when it comes to 50, but actually the ages between 50 and 80 are the most productive times in our lifespan. So to hear that Jane Fonda, like at 85, and I can't believe that's her age, like, wow, she looks amazing, that she's really on purpose. So do you find that when you're leading your clients to exercise, do you find it impacts their energy and their clarity of mind?
Oh, definitely. You can have a client that is not really into it in the beginning, and then you just see it changes, the energy changing. And that's why I always say, put your clothes out, your workout clothes out the night before, because we used to do that when I taught fitness retreats pre-COVID. I would just say, go now into your room and put the workout clothes that you need to have on first thing in the morning, because when the morning comes, we don't have to run around and make excuses. Oh, I can't find the socks, so I can't go for my walk. So just put the workout clothes out and just have them there first thing in the morning, and just at least go outside and just start moving. And then you might be out 5 minutes, or you might be out 20 minutes. But just to get started and just kind of tell those voices, to stop. And what I want to say also is that what I usually say is, be grateful for your body, that you have a functional body. And when you get into that, no, I don't want to, think about somebody that can't move.
Right.
Think about somebody that has MS and where it has gone really far, where they can't move. If you gave them 1 minute of freedom to move their body, do you think they would still sit? No, they would stand up. They would walk. They would jump. They would, wow. They would just really be so grateful they can move. So when and if you get into that, really get into being grateful. And it's a privilege to move your body.
It's a privilege to move your body. Someone put that in the chat. It's a privilege to move your body. That's a great motivator, as well as, Malin, I love the putting the workout clothes out the night before. What I do is I book myself into a class the night before, and then I don't have a way out. So I love that. Malin, thank you for representing the Nordic body so authentically. Thank you for manifesting the work that you do. And thank you for sharing Jane Fonda's workout with us. That's so fun. We really appreciate you showing up for everyone here today. Can we show her some love in the chat, please? And what are your takeaways from listening to Malin today? Thank you, Malin. Any final words?
I just wish everyone a wonderful day, wonderful week. And I hope that you enjoyed the workout. What I want to say about the workout that I created, that you have access to, is that you don't need any equipment. So there's no excuses. Oh, I have to buy this and this and that. No equipment. You can do it anywhere, anytime. And there's 3 levels, 1, 2, and 3. Start easy and then make progress. And if you have any questions, just email us, info@nordicbody.com, and I'll be happy to help you out.
Perfect. That's info@nordicbody.com, NORDICBODY.com. Thank you, Malin. It's so wonderful to be with you. Mwah. Thank you for showing up for us today.
Bye.